Hey y'all, Wild Riley back at it. I'm going to talk a little bit about moving water. So, out here in the Central Coast and pretty much in the West, we haven't really got rainfall this year, unfortunately. This is one of those years where other parts of the world or other parts of the United States are getting plenty of water, maybe even too much water, but here it's just been dry. Some of the cherry trees are kind of struggling along. The leaves are kind of laying low, kind of hardening off. Not a whole lot of new growth. And I've been adding a little bit of water to the mix, it's just kind of a dry year anyway. Have you invested in ways to move water around? Have you gotten some extra hoses, tubs to store water, gray water, rainwater, things like that? Trash cans, 50-gallon drums, anything like that? The ICB totes. Out here in the West, this is like the breadbasket of the world. Not too far is the artichoke capital. We got strawberries everywhere. Very water-intensive crops all over the Central Coast, and they're watering like crazy, but down around here, our community wells are running dry. So that's one thing to consider. I was thinking about it because I put a lot of work into planting these trees and, saving up the money to buy the trees, and to just let them go because of a drought, that's unacceptable. So I have to water. But if our community well's running dry and they're trucking water up to the water tank, I feel kind of bad using our tap water, water that could be going to the neighbors, just to water my plants. And they're charging a lot more for it because they're having to truck it up. So instead, I'm saving the bath water. I have a family of 4. We take about 3 showers or 2 showers and a bath a day. That's a lot of water. I mean, it adds up pretty fast, maybe 100 gallons a day. We bought that water. We're not going to waste it. So rather than it going through septic, it's going to go into these barrels. And like the one here behind me. And then it's going to be carried over to the trees in little 1-gallon buckets, the young trees. And the way I've been doing it is one day, it's all pomegranates. All the pomegranates get water because I have a lot of pomegranates here. And the next day it might be citrus trees. All the oranges and limes and all kumquats, all those trees get the water. Then it might be apples. Then it might be stone fruit. Apples include pears and everything. So I rotate around, but every week the trees get at least 1 gallon of water, which I don't think they need an incredible amount. It just needs to stay damp down there in the soil. And so this method is working good. And it's teaching me to conserve water, and it's also not a lot of effort to carry a 1-gallon bucket with a hole in the bottom in each arm, and water 2 trees at once, and then come back and scoop it out of the, livestock feed tub, and I'll scoop another batch of water out, and then go water it, and keep doing that. And some of the trees, like if I show you this one over here, the little apple tree is underneath the bigger crabapple. So when I water that little apple, it's watering the bigger tree too. So that's companion planting, it's conserving our water. The little apple is going to begin shading the bigger, older tree, and then one day it'll probably replace that bigger tree. But it's going to be a forest, so the trees are going to grow in little clades. They're going to kind of take care of each other and create a little environment. Which is kind of why I'm kicking back in here, because it's in the shade and under the peach tree. And that's another cool thing is this is a peach tree. But that branch right there, that's all plums on it. It's a graft. It's fun to do. It's fun to see the branches grow. But anywho, consider what you're going to do about water, how you're going to move it, transfer it, conserve it, reuse it, because it's definitely become like a tool, just like our food, just like our distribution system. Water is a necessity that can be leveraged to change behavior. And I don't want to change my behavior. I want to grow a food forest. I want to create a Garden of Eden everywhere I go. I think my behavior is just fine. So I'm going to find ways around getting squeezed for water, whether it's a drought or whether it's a manufactured style shortage, or whether there's a disaster. Maybe an earthquake breaks your distribution. Then what? You got to be prepared for that. And I mean, if it's bad enough, we're gonna lose a few trees, and we'll recover once everything's repaired. But never underestimate the human ingenuity. And prepare to move water, because you may need to go down to a river, pump water into a bin, ICB tote, or a barrel in the back of your truck, and then haul it somewhere, because you might have a dry camp. My family's definitely had to do that many a times. You may have to collect rainwater, save it during the spring, and use it to supplement your water usage during the summer. Definitely done that a lot. It takes a lot of water to maintain even just a little tree. 1 gallon at a time, gallon after gallon after gallon, all through the summer. You gotta raise the tree up for a couple years before it becomes fruitful. Then when you start getting fruit, it's just a few of them at a time. And only when the tree's a decade old, then you're starting to get a pretty good harvest. But the thousands of gallons that you put into that and the care, it's definitely necessary and worthwhile, but you just got to plan on being able to handle the water situation. And I still have a ways to go too, but this video is there to urge you to get electric and gasoline water pumps, maybe an ICB tote, a clean one, or 50-gallon drums that are good for holding water. Any kind of tubs, buckets, vessels, anything you can move and store water in and transport water. Because you're going to need it. Thanks for watching.